What, I guess the one thing, and of course it's kind of hard to sort through the noise.
Right.
Do you think the electorate will ever realize that what the situation was that produced some of the things that are now huge campaign issues, like the stimulus and like the...
Well, no, the polling shows that people know
Mhm.
that the Bush administration basically caused the financial crisis. And they do. But their basic thing is, look, you Democrats have been in charge for 2 years,
Right.
and we should be out of this by now. And I think that's the Tea Party people.
Right.
The really the vociferous.
Right.
We have to change.
Right.
Kind of folks. So I think that's the real reason why people are. They know that Bush administration created the financial crisis. They just are upset that Obama hasn't gotten us out of the crisis yet. And the irony is, of course, is that in terms of the economy is coming back, but irony, that's not what I'm concerned about, and that's what other people are concerned about. It's all about jobs. And jobs always lag the economy coming back.
Right.
But this was a deeper hole. We dug ourselves a deeper hole than any time since the Great Depression. And while we're getting up out of the hole, corporations are, and business in general is hesitant about starting to hire people back.
Right.
And that's the real problem. In my opinion, my real problem is jobs. I mean, it's all about, if you don't have your job, you're in danger of losing your house, and you lose your job, you lose your health insurance. There's a reason why people are upset and impatient. It's a very, very difficult time for the vast majority of Americans. And I think that when that happens, people tend to blame
Right. Now let's fast forward to 2 years. If we don't see some sort of shock to the economy, do you think there will be a gradual improvement, or is this a...
Well, that's the big question. Unless the other irony to me is that a number of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle were saying, don't do the stimulus bill. The economy will come back. Leave it to the private sector. And what's happened in the 18 months is thanks to the stimulus. If you look at all the major economic indicators, the job drop was going just like this. We lost 730,000 jobs.
Right.
And then in March 2009, we stopped losing as many jobs,
Right.
and probably worked our way back up. And if you look at the gross domestic product in the country, it bottomed out in March 2009. If you look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, it bottomed out in March 2009. So clearly, the stimulus had the desired effect on the economy. So now, we've got the economy somewhat back, according to most of the economic indicators. And now, the problem we have is the private sector is not hiring people. So the idea that if we hadn't done the stimulus 18 months ago, then we just left the private sector to be fine, and we're in this deep hole.
Right.
What are the chances that the private sector would be hiring people back then when they're not hiring people when the economy is doing so much better? The corporations now have trillions of dollars available to hire people. Their productivity is going up. Banks have trillions of dollars to loan to people, and they're just not doing it. And I'm not blaming them for not doing it, but I am saying the theory that the government should not get involved, we should not have done the stimulus,
Right.
and left it to the private sector, that is very hard to defend based on where we are with the private sector right now.
I guess it comes down, it's a psychological thing too. If
Sure.
if the demand is not strong enough, they won't hire, and there isn't any evidence that the people,
But demand, well, see, one of the real problems here is, and I've talked about this a lot, is that most of our jobs in the last 10 years came in consumer products,
Right.
housing, and finance. And if people are looking to those three areas for us to come
Right.
back, they're looking in the wrong areas, because clearly we just want the housing market to stop going down.
Right.
The economy's come down back, but the housing market hasn't. And the idea that we're going to be building housing at the rate we were building in 2005, 2006, 2007,
Right.
is just not going to happen. The consumer products, people use the home equity they had and other things, and credit card debt.
Mhm.
That's over. People just don't have the money, so it can't be consumer products. They're going to
Right.
raise this thing. And then the finance area, which is
Mhm.
is a shambles. So that's where we have to look to these new jobs. I've talked a lot about, clean energy jobs, biomedical, a lot of things that, by the way, Newark is doing very well. Delaware is doing very well. And that is, I'm amazed at the number of small businesses here and not so small businesses that are in these high growth industries. And I think the Fisker coming here was a big plus in terms of coming to Delaware. People now think if you want to do the new economy, Delaware's the place to go. And I think the Chrysler plant, turning that, the university taking that over and doing the things that they're talking about doing there is extraordinarily positive. And I think that final piece of the puzzle, I think Governor Markell has done a great job with Fisker, with Valero, with Sally Mae, in terms of having Delaware be a great place if you want to put a business. This is the place to be. So I think that's all good for Delaware. We just have to have a start, and we have to have, start hiring more people.